Throughout its history, Urquhart Castle has been a target for those who wish to control the waters and surrounding hills of Loch Ness. Until Robert the Bruce managed to regain control of the region in 1308. Even though it was built as a royal castle, held in trust for the king by loyal keepers, only one king ever slept here, David II.
A soldier from Edinburgh called Roderick Mackenzie. As we sail down Loch Ness, notice the very steep sides to the left and right. Loch Ness lies on a geological fault line, which essentially cuts Scotland into two halves. The Great Glen, as it is known, was flooded following the melting of Ice Age glaciers around 11,000 years ago, creating Loch Ness and several other lochs along the fault line. Loch Ness measures almost 23 miles, or 36 kilometres at its longest, and around 1 mile, or 1.6 kilometres wide. It is not the largest Scottish loch, nor the deepest. However, combining its length and depth, it holds the largest volume of fresh water in Great Britain. If you were to combine the water in all the lakes of England and Wales, Loch Ness would still have more. It holds an estimated 7.5 billion cubic metres of water. That's enough to fill 3 million Olympic-sized swimming pools. At its deepest point, Loch Ness is around 230 metres deep. That's twice the height of the Forth Rail Bridge and deeper than much of the North Sea. Watch the sonar screens to see if you can discover where the deepest section lies.
Even hardy Scots would think twice before swimming in Loch Ness, as the loch remains at around 6 degrees Celsius, with only the surface water getting a little warmer in the summer. Having said this, in the winter, the water is often warmer than the air temperature. As the temperature remains fairly steady throughout the year, the loch does not freeze over.
If you look overboard, you may see that the water is very dark, almost brown. This is caused by the peat content of the surrounding soil. Once you travel beyond 30 metres in depth, the loch is a dark abyss, with very poor visibility, making it a perfect hiding place for anything that wishes to remain unseen. Due to the high peat content of the water, it is nutrient poor. However, it is oxygen rich, which means species can survive at amazing depths.
Close to Drumnadrochit Loch, and a number of neighbouring buildings were damaged. Despite the low level of activity, nearby infrastructure has to be designed to withstand minor quakes. The Kissock Bridge, which crosses the Murray Firth, has seismic buffers built into the design. Earthquakes continue to be recorded all along the Great Glen to the present day.
entering the deepest section of the loch, which is around 230 metres in depth. From here you can get a magnificent view of Urquhart Castle, one of the most iconic castles in Scotland, thanks to its scenic location. There has been a fortress on this site since the time of the Picts. Saint Columba is known to have been welcomed here by the Picts around 580 AD, where he baptised an elderly Pictish lord called Emchath, as well as his entire household.
Charlie managed to flee the battlefield and escape the government troops. He took to the landscape around him, in particular hiding in a cave at Corriedale, being cared for by the 7 men of Glenmoriston, which lies further down Loch Ness. The men were among his few remaining followers, and the prince called them his prince. He was barefooted, had an old black kilt coat on, a plaid, philibeg and waistcoat, a dirty shirt and a long red beard, a gun in his hand, a pistol and a dirk by his side. Eventually, the prince continued his journey west, meeting up with a lady called Flora MacDonald, who disguised the prince as one of her maids and took him in a boat across to the Isle of Skye, from where he started.